So today I am going to show you how I made a birthday cake. I'm going to flip the lights off for a second because I really want you to see this. So this is my birthday cake and it has a whole bunch of lights on it. So this you are actually going to be doing at home. So, the very first thing I'm going to show you is how I made the lights work. So what you're going to need is you have kits that look like this, and inside of them you're going to have little lights like this. Now you can test your lights with the battery. So you also have a battery that looks like this. It's brand new in the package still. But you can take and put, there's 2 wires coming off. And so you just put the battery between those wires and your light will light up. And so you're going to want to go through and test all of your lights first. I did test them before I put them in your kits, but being that it was a little bit ago when we did it, they might not still be working. So here's something I want to show you. I just put this one on here and it did not work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over and try again. And now it's working. So sometimes if it doesn't work one way, you can flip it and it'll work the opposite way. And when you're putting these together, so right now I have, my battery has a positive side and a negative side. The positive side is the flat side. So when I put it on like this, it works and it's the longer wire that's on top. So I want to make sure when I'm setting up my lights on my paper that I have all of the long sides on the same side, because you can flip your battery and move it around, but if you have your lights in there and one of them's one way and one of them's another way, it might not all work. So you want to make sure that if you're choosing to put the long wire on the right side of your paper, you're going to do that with every single one of your lights. So first things first is you need those lights, you need the battery, and then there's copper tape strips in your kits, and you're going to need those, and some construction paper. So you can choose to make a cake out of it if you want, or if you want, you can also just use the paper and test it and see if it works and do it that way. It's completely up to you guys, whatever you want to do. The whole idea is to get your lights functioning using the tape, the battery, and the little lights. So I am just cutting off a section of the paper. Doesn't have to be very big. Mine looks like this. It's about 1/3 of a sheet. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my copper tape and I'm going to peel the backing off of it because it's sticky on one side. And this is going to be a tricky part. Oh, there we go. So I peel the backing off so it's just the copper tape. And I'm going to put that copper tape on my paper. Oh. You want to make sure you're super careful when doing this part. So I just put it on my paper, just like that. I'm going to take my next one, and one of them is going to be longer than the other, and there's actually a reason for that. So I'll show you when I am completely done. I'm going to put my other piece of tape on there. Just like that. All right. So now, do you remember how we talked about the long and the short side? I'm going to flip my paper over. Let me just cut off a section here. So I'm cutting it so that the tape's at the end of it. And then down here, I'm going to do the same with the longest piece. just like that. So now we're working with a smaller section of paper, just like that. All right, so I'm going to take my light and I'm going to choose to have the longer side on the right side of my paper. So I'm going to push my prongs through the paper like so. And then you're going to bend those prongs over top of the copper tape. So my longer one is on this side. So I'm going to keep it on the right side going all the way down. And so this, you kind of hold your paper up and you can see through it to see that you're between those copper wires or copper tape when you're pushing your prongs through. And then same thing, fold it over. So there's wire going across that tape. And then you're just going to keep going with all of your lights. I'm keeping my long side on the right side of my paper. Okay, so now they're all on here. You can see all of my wires are bent over the copper tape. So the next thing I'm going to do, because I want to make sure that these wires are touching that tape, is I'm going to take some of my masking tape and I'm just going to tape right over top of it so it holds that wire right up against the copper tape. And I'm going to do it on both sides. So now this is what it looks like. I can still see my wires, and I'm just going to push against that tape, making sure that everything's right up against the copper wire. Now the next part is your battery. So you're going to take your battery and you're going to lay it on the short end, just like this. And then you're going to fold it so that the other one is touching. And so right now, none of my lights are lighting up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my battery over and do it again. And as you can see, my lights are now lighting up. Some of them are a little bit more dull than the other ones, but you can see them. And if you push up against that tape that you have on there, you can get the ones in the middle to light up too. But like I said, some of them are dull, so it's kind of hard to see right now. But they are all lighting up. And this is how I made this. So you can't really tell. Oh, my battery's upside down. So like right now, you can only see the one light, but if I push up against my tape, they all kind of light up, which actually makes it look really cool because it looks like they're flickering. But all I did was I made a cake out of construction paper, and then I pushed this through it. You can see it's right here, and connected it and made holes in the top. And so that's how I made the cake itself. So if you wanted to, without having to hold it, if you wanted to show somebody it, you could put it in there and then just use more tape to hold it together. And you would have just a little bit of tape or cake. So I'm going to show you how I did the cake. It's super, super simple. Once you have your lights working and functioning, oh, my battery's upside down again. So once you have your light panel working, and it may take some adjusting where you're pushing on the tape to get the lights to light up. There we go. But once you have that part figured out, then you can go ahead and make a cake, or you can make anything at all out of construction paper to attach your lights to. But I'm just going to show you how I did the cake real quick. I'm just folding the rest of my piece of paper in half and cutting it down the middle. And then I make a circle with it and use my masking tape to tape it. Just like that. And then I'm going to choose a different color for the top. And you're going to make it into a circle. And then you're going to use your masking tape and you're going to tape around it to attach it to the top. And then when you're done, this is how it's going to look. And then you take your light panel and so what I did with my light panel is I just kind of eyed it up. And I know that I laid my lights on it like this. And then I took a pencil and poked my holes in. So then when I came through the back side, I could push my light bulbs up through the holes that I had created. Just like that. So I pushed them up through. And then all I needed to do after that was put my battery in there. And my cake was finished. There we go. And you can see all the lights. It's better when the lights are off because you can see it better, but that is my finished cake. So like I said, you can make a cake when you're all finished if you want, or you can just do the light panel like this to demonstrate that you got the lights to work using the copper tape and the bulbs and the battery. Let me know if you guys have any questions and have fun with this one, okay? Bye.